Okay, guys, last one. This third one is a little bit different than the first two because in this third one, we are given one angle here and one side, and you're missing two sides this time. Those are the two sides that you're missing. In the first two examples, we just had two sides. We used Pythagorean theorem to find the third, and then we had to find our angles. This time it's a little bit different. Okay, so it's kind of like actually our first day. So the first day when we were all in class together and we were finishing up those notes, that's kind of what this is going to be like. We're going to figure out what we need. We definitely need the measure of angle D because that's not there, right? We are definitely going to need the length of EF because we're missing that right there, and we're definitely going to need the length of DF. Now, again, because we only have one side, we can't use Pythagorean theorem to go and find that third side. Okay. What we can do immediately is solve for angle D. That's nice. That's what's really nice about these. Remember, you can do 180 minus 90 minus your 58, or if you remember that really all you have to do is your 90 minus your 58, you know that you get 32 degrees. That's done. We now need to find those two side lengths. So this is where it's very much like what we did yesterday, where we sit at the angle that we're given. Okay, so we are going to sit at the angle that we were given. We were given that angle. Now, in relation to that angle, this is definitely the opposite side. Okay, across that 14, that is definitely the opposite side. Now, here's where it gets a little bit not tricky or crazy or anything like that. You just have to put a little thought into which side you want to find first, and that's totally okay. You find whichever side you want first. Now, I'm going to go ahead and find side EF first. Okay, I'm going to find side EF first, and in relation to my angle F, where I'm actually sitting, that is my adjacent side. Okay, I'm going to call it X just because I know that that's what I'm looking for, and remember, when you don't know something in math class, you can plug an X in for it. That's what you're looking for. That's how we work for it. So here I am sitting at this angle. I have my opposite. I need my adjacent. I have to think of which trig function I'm going to use. So TOA. I'm going to use tangent because tangent of angle F is going to be opposite over adjacent. Okay, again, you write that out and then you think about what you actually have. I actually have the 58 degrees for angle F, so I'm going to write 58 degrees right there. It equals opposite. Well, the opposite side is 14. The adjacent side is the X. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Now remember, we can treat these, put this over 1, treat these as a proportion, and cross multiply. So when I cross multiply, I'm going to get X times the tangent of 58 equals 14. Okay, and yesterday we tried to figure out tangent of 58 or the sine of whatever or cosine of whatever. We actually plugged those in and found out that they were just numbers. They're not gloriously beautiful numbers, but they are numbers nonetheless. And so when you're multiplying by a number and you want to isolate your variable, to undo that multiplication, you divide by that number. Okay. And remember, I asked you pretty please to always make sure that you enter your side length first. So when you go and type this into your calculator, you are going to enter this 14. That 14 gets entered into your calculator first, and if you don't do that, then that's going to end up screwing you up. But you're going to do 14 first. So when you do this, X is going to equal, and you literally are going to type 14 divided by tangent of 58. Close your parentheses and hit enter. When you do that, you get 8.7481709727. And remember, we're going to round to the nearest hundredth, so it's going to be 8.75. Okay, so 8.75, that is the length of EF, 8.75. Now, at this point, you do have two sides of the triangle. You could use the Pythagorean theorem to find the third, but I think that as you start doing this and as you practice more and more, you're going to find that your trig functions are actually a lot faster. So I'm going to switch over to blue to kind of differentiate between the first one. I'm still going to sit at angle F. I am still going to use this 14, this opposite side. This time, though, I'm going to look for this side, the DF, and if you remember, across from my 90 degrees is my hypotenuse. So I have my opposite, I need my hypotenuse. If I think about that, I have the opposite, I need my hypotenuse. So TOA, this is going to be sine this time. So the sine of F, you're still sitting at the same angle, so that doesn't change. Sine of F is opposite over hypotenuse. So the sine of my 58 equals opposite is 14 over the hypotenuse. I don't know what it is, so this time, because I've already used the letter x, I'm going to call it a y. So over y. And of course, you can put this over 1, treat it as a proportion, cross multiply and divide. Oops. When you do that, you get y times the sine of 58 equals 14. You divide both sides by the sine of 58, because remember the sine of 58 is just a number. That's going to cancel. Oh, I might just change colors. That's going to cancel. There we go. Much better. So y equals, and then you just type it in, 14 divided by the sine of 58. You hit enter, and you get 16.508. So we're going to round it to 16.51. 16.51. We don't have any units, so we don't have to label anything. And then you can kind of double check yourself. 16.51, that's supposed to represent your hypotenuse. Your hypotenuse is supposed to be the longest side of your triangle. 16.51 is bigger than your 14. It's bigger than your 8.75. Okay, and you can also even double check your 8.75. Remember, this was 32 degrees, and we talk about how across from the smaller angle is the smaller side. So across from the 32 should be the shortest side, because that's the shortest angle, shortest side, and 8.75 is our shortest side. Okay, so you can do little things like that to kind of double check and make sure that you at least have reasonable numbers, right? And remember, if you ever get a negative, not going to work.